perform and to meet demands. I feel like nobody cares about my values as long as I perform. I feel like my faith community doesn't understand my working life. I feel like my boss doesn't recognize what I contribute around here. I feel rushed, busied, and overwhelmed by the responsibilities of life. I can't do one more thing. We sense that work must be more than a paycheck, a way to make an imprint in the world around us. Christians in particular yearn to connect heart, mind, and work to a meaningful contribution to the world. And yet doing so is often fraught with difficulty and setbacks. Even success can breed disillusionment. Owen Hill's early career was meteoric. He attended the Air Force Academy and then graduated with a PhD in policy analysis from Pardee Rand Graduate School in Santa Monica, California. He was elected to the Colorado State Senate at age 30. Having co-sponsored several successful bills in Colorado, he decided to wager it all 6 years later and run for U.S. Congress. He largely self-funded his campaign for the U.S. House of Representatives and lost. After losing to a long-standing incumbent, he felt growing tension around broad Republican support for personality rather than policy, so Owen decided to leave politics altogether. Nearly penniless and jobless after a decade in politics, Owen reflected one evening over dinner about his work. What was it really for? Did I accomplish anything that will last? A nagging sense of emptiness hung over him like a cloud as he tried to start over in a new career, but now with 4 kids. At the midpoint of his life, Owen found himself reassessing his career, identity, and the overarching story of his life. Now, many of us deeply enjoy our work, yet we also feel lonely, anxious, tired, misunderstood, and often undervalued at our jobs. In 2021, Gallup reported only 36% of U.S. employees were engaged in their work and workplace. Globally, only 20% are engaged at work. Much of the world is either going through the motions or lacking excitement for their current role. The COVID-19 pandemic spurred millions to quit their jobs in 2021, popularly known as the Great Resignation. The mass layoffs of the 2020 pandemic lockdown, especially in restaurants and hotels, were clearly not forgotten by workers. When the economy began to recover a year later and employee power increased, millions walked out. In April of 2021, 4 million Americans quit their jobs. In August, 65% of employees said they were looking for a new job. Heather Long, a reporter at the Washington Post, believes the pandemic didn't just cause a labor shortage, but a great reassessment of work in America. As the reassessment of work becomes a stronger cultural current, we can't get away from the sense that if work is just exchanging dollars for hours, we're letting our lives slip away. Since the pandemic, a Pew Research Center study found the majority of workers who quit a job cited low pay, no opportunities for advancement, or disrespect as top reasons for leaving. As jobs were plentiful, men and women across industries hit the door. And yet the Great Resignation was often followed by the Great Regret for those same employees. Their next workplaces, many found, weren't much more human than the last ones. Finding meaning in work feels like searching for Bigfoot, ever elusive and probably just a myth. Owen and Brent are asking honest questions that many of us are too afraid to ask. Am I wasting my life? Is work meaningless? As I go about my daily life, who am I becoming? A splintering culture. Work is not done in a vacuum. The tensions around work in our culture are growing. Here are just a few. The opportunity gap. Working-class communities are facing growing barriers to thriving lives. Since 1970, professional wages have increased dramatically, yet the wages of high school-educated men have fallen 47%. You're more than twice as likely to die of suicide if you have a high school degree compared to a college degree. For kids of working-class parents, the rate of single-parent homes has jumped in the last half-century from 20 to 70%. And shockingly, high-achieving poor kids are now less likely, 29%, to get a college degree than low-achieving rich kids, 30%. This fact is particularly hard to square, writes Harvard sociologist Robert Putnam, with the idea at the heart of the American dream, equality of opportunity. Crisis of work. On one side of the economic spectrum, work has become almost a religion. Derek Thompson of The Atlantic calls this workism, the belief that the center of one's identity and life's purpose must always be found in work. On the other side is what researcher Nick